All right, everybody, the Metal Block coming back at you with another episode. We're always trying to put out great material. We want you guys to check it out and get something new, get something exciting, get something, out of it that you can walk away from and hopefully tell your friends and listen to some new metal. And we have a really, really exciting episode. Make sure you stop by the social medias. Make sure you check out Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, all of that stuff. Also, email metalblocktalks@gmail.com if you want to just drop us a line, give us some suggestions, whatever. We'd love to hear from you. So, exciting episode. We are here with Brian Gulliford from Ancient Entities. He's the vocalist, and we could not be more excited. Brian, why don't you say hi to everybody real quick?
How's it going? Hopefully this comes through. Sounds good.
It's going. And you got Brutal Brando, you got Scary Greg. So say what's up, guys.
What's up, blockheads?
So like I said, super exciting. Can't wait to talk to Brian and just see his side of the world and just get a chance to dive into some deeper metal. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brando, and he's going to get us going.
All right. Brian, it's awesome to have you here. I appreciate you guys answering the call.
Thanks for having
me. Talk to us about metal and your kick-ass band, Ancient Entities. I actually heard about you guys through the weekly injection from Metal Injection when your album dropped, and just saw it on the list and said, I'm going to go check that out, and I loved it. So was excited that you guys answered and wanted to come be a part of the Metal Block family and talk to us for an evening. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your metal history and how you kind of got into being a part of a metal band, like playing metal and stuff.
Oh, damn. Man, that starts way back in the 90s, right? I grew up with all the hair metal bands like Motley Crue, Def Leppard, and from there I just always wanted something heavier. It wasn't always hitting for me. So then I discovered Children of Bodom, Cannibal Corpse, Deicide, and just kept going from there. It just kept getting worse. I think a few years, 2017, I'd say is when I first started doing being in a band and doing all this kind of stuff. I joined a band called Dead Hand System from Chicago, and it had a couple guys from Gorgasm, Vader, and Dissenter, and Wounds. They were all playing in that band. They wanted me in on that, so that's where all the chaos began.
Oh, that's cool, man. And you had no band or music experience before that?
I dabbled around in a rock band. We played drums for a little while for a few years, and it was fun, but it wasn't always my thing. I wanted to do more of a metal kind of thing, and it just hit more. And then I decided to ditch the drums because screw loading that stuff, man. I hated lugging that all around. I just gotta show up.
It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah, too much.
Well, that's cool. So what bands would you say are the largest influences and biggest inspiration for you as a vocalist?
For me personally, Sven from Aborted. He's a huge influence, especially in this band with Ancient Entities. I do a lot of I love Immolation. Immolation is one of my all-time favorites. Gorgasm, like I said earlier. Those are the top three right there.
Awesome. It's a good top three. I like it. Yeah. So, all right. So, yeah. So, you guys are from Milwaukee, is that correct?
Yeah. Everyone in my band's from Milwaukee except for me. I'm from Chicago. So man, sweet home
Oh,
Chicago.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what kind of commute is that for you?
It's not terrible. It's about an hour drive usually. It's little bit nicer right now because we're all practicing remote, so it's a little bit easier. Um, but yeah, when we usually get together, it's about an hour. It's not terrible.
Okay. How often do you guys get together?
Uh, Lately it's been kind of rough. Because we used to have a practice space with our drummer, but we've split with him for the time being. So right now we're kind of
Uh,
all on our own. We do Zoom calls and stuff. We send each other messages back and forth. But usually when we all see each other is at shows. So we're all at the hope that we've all
oh,
kept up
okay.
with our. Yeah,
All right. Well, hey, whatever works, man. Let's keep it
it's been
alive.
working so far.
So, what's the I mean, hell, Milwaukee. I know there's a great metal scene there. What about Chicago? Like, I have a feeling it's got a pretty good metal scene as well.
Oh yeah, there's what I've noticed more in Milwaukee. There's a lot of thrash metal bands. There's a bigger thrash crowd. Down here in Chicago, there's a
Okay.
lot bigger death metal, which is really sick. Like I love it. It's a lot closer to me, so I'll take it. I'm going to like a show
Oh
every
yeah,
other
right
week.
on.
Yeah, it's really cool. There's so many good underground bands. I would be here like for months just naming them off, honestly.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'm down in Houston, and I know we've got some. It's pretty steady. So I feel like I know up north, man. There's a lot of good stuff. So that's
Oh
cool.
yeah, you guys got like the big fests down there too now, like Texas Domination and all that good stuff.
Yeah, they just did the first one, and then that big Texas Metal Fest with where All Shall Perish did their return like this
Oh,
summer or in May or something like that. Yeah, there's a few. There's a few, but it's a big state, so spreads out all over the place.
that's true. Yeah. I think we got like
Yeah,
one
man,
or
and I
two.
know
Nothing like that in Oklahoma.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
sorry.
Zumi and Greg
Hey,
here in Oklahoma City and Tulsa, Oklahoma. They don't quite have it as good as we do.
hey, man,
Yeah.
No, it's
starts
rough. It's rough. We have
we'll start something.
Every
We'll
now
get
and then.
it.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Every now and then we will get, a good lineup that comes through. And whenever it does, it seems like there's like 10 of them. And so you're like, oh no, I can't afford all of these. So which ones do I go to? And it's like,
Man.
why do they all come at the same time?
we have Rocklahoma, right?
Yeah, Rocklahoma, which had some Pantera. So, I mean, I'll give
Yeah,
them props. At
Rocklahoma.
least they picked up some Pantera.
Hell yeah,
Right.
brother.
Sweet Oklahoma. Um, so Brian, what notable bands has Ancient Entities had the privilege of like either touring or sharing the stage with at a show?
Oh man, I think like the highest point we've had so far was playing Milwaukee Metal Fest back in May. That was absolutely insane. Like we played the bar stage, but like that whole room was just wall to wall packed. Um, Bobby from Overkill checked out our whole set. That was pretty cool. And yeah, we were just hanging with a lot of cool people. Like we were all freaking out. We were geeked like hell. Like we would like go upstairs and like the guys from Blind Guardian would be like eating food. We'd just be like, like, what do we do? So and that was probably the coolest thing up to date. And the next one we're doing a tour in a couple weeks with Viscera Trail, so that's gonna be fun.
Oh hell yeah, that will be cool. Yeah, is
Yeah,
it a
it's gonna
full
be down
U.S.
south.
tour or where all are you going?
No, we're doing a week, but we're gonna hit Texas, New Orleans, and Arkansas. So we're gonna do a couple dates in each.
Okay, I think I saw a flyer for that. Like, you guys post something. Is it going to It's going to San Antonio, isn't it, or something like that?
Yep, day one, straight there.
Oh shit! All right, day one. Dang, that's cool, man. Well, I hope that
Hell yeah.
one I hope that's a successful tour for you guys, and hopefully it leads into like, I don't know, something larger. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Thank you.
Yeah. So, tell me, how did Ancient Entities form? Like the band members coming together, and then I'm curious about the whole ancient civilizations like concept that you guys have. Like, fill us in a little bit on that.
Yeah. The band started before I joined. I started about a year beforehand. It was they all knew each other from previous bands. All the guys knew each other from previous bands. They've all played together, all from the Milwaukee scene. I think their first show, actually, if I remember correctly, was they opened for Soulfly. At like Route 20 out or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, they started this whole thing because I know our guitarist and the original vocalist were in a band called Kazadome, and they've always been big history buffs. So they're just like, hey, what if we just did like a thing that like Niall's doing? Like we do something cool like that, and we just bring like ancient like civilizations, rituals, tortures, and like even mythology. Let's like bring that to life. So it's not only is it like we get cool death metal from it, you also can learn something from it if you really want. Yeah, that's how that all started. And I think their vocalist just one day I don't exactly remember for what reasons, but he had to step down. And I was at the show and I was absolutely hammered. And I went up to them. I was like, hey, your vocalist said it was his last show. I heard you guys need one. And next thing I knew, they're just like, yeah, come on in. And I was like, oh, shit, what did I do?
Oh, that's awesome.
Here we are.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool way to join a band. Just get shit-faced and then wake up the next day in a band. That's cool.
Yeah, they're like, so we're meeting up at this time. I'm like, who the hell are you guys? Like, what's going on?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty
that's
cool.
that's a good story.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It sounds like almost like BS, but it couldn't have worked out perfect.
It's like, hey, I can sing.
That's literally, were you there? Like, that's exactly how it happened.
Oh,
That's perfect.
that is
Oh
too
my God. That's awesome. Well, dude, that's a really exciting way to join a band. That's pretty cool.
Right?
Next question, like, how would you kind of like describe the band's sound? Like, if you had to say like what genre or subgenre you guys are, like, where would you put it?
That is a really good question because it's really we actually still talk about this. We're like, what do we do? Like, how do we describe it? So we call it just brutal technical death metal because it kind of hits everything. Like we have crazy solos, we have a lot of technical riffs, we have a lot of melody, but we also have like a lot of like almost like breakdowny, slammy stuff. So like it kind of hits all the bases in a way.
Yeah.
Man, for like a distinct thing, I'm gonna let the gatekeepers go for that one. I'll let them figure that one out.
So it's kind of funny because Brando and we had actually talked about it, and we didn't look it up or anything, but he was like, well, what genre do you think they are? And I was like, technical death metal? And he's like, but they've got melody, I go, but they're not really melodic death metal. I said, so I'm just going to go with death metal, is what I said. Technical death metal is what I told him. So I cheated. I cheated, and I checked it out on Metal Archives. Did you look at this yet, Brando?
No, I haven't.
You haven't? You didn't cheat? Have you looked at this, Brian?
I was cocky and I went on and I was like, I'm going to search my stuff, and I did.
Yeah, so they just said death metal.
Just
That's
death
good
metal.
enough. I'll take it.
I like it.
I was like so scared. My friends were always making fun of. Oh, that bad.
I was like,
You finish what you were saying. You were personally
Yeah.
that your friends what?
Yeah, my friends were all I'm like mildly one of those like elitist types, and so my friends will always make try to make fun of me. They're just like, man, you're in a deathcore band. They're a deathcore. Sure, why not? Might as well. Whatever, it works. Okay.
Man, I hear a lot of melody in it, and I love the breakdowns that you guys have. And I don't know who the artistic genius is that masters those pinch harmonics and all those killer riffs, dude. But like, it's so stellar. I mean, I was telling Zumi, I think I would put you guys in like a melodic technical death metal. But like when I first heard it, my first listen, my first thought, and I think it's the production, like the recording sound. I first thought of kind of a death grindy. Like I hear like Misery Index and Black Dahlia Murder kind of like styles mixed in there and stuff. So I mean, I love it. I love the sound. It's great.
Thank you so
I mean, just my hats off to you. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we're familiar with Echoes of Annihilation. You know, just came out earlier this year. Is a stellar record. Like I've been jamming it for weeks, dude. I absolutely love it. But are there any other Ancient Entities recordings floating around out there, like with different stuff on it, like older or whatever?
Actually, no. That's all we got right now. That's everything we started from, and that's what it is at the moment. Um, we have like alternate versions of some things. Like I know there's a couple of things that I have on mine, like with a little bit more like vocal layers and a little bit more flair thrown into it. But it's like unmastered and unmixed, and it just sounds like crap. But
No.
yeah, that's literally it. That's all we got.
All right. Well, it's a great record, so it's a good place to start. For sure.
I was gonna say hitting home runs on first swing, man.
And you gotta make me blush, man.
Well, what's the band's creative process like in writing songs? Is there one person that kind of does a majority of the writing? Do you guys all kind of collaborate together to form the songs, or like how does this stuff come together for you guys?
So what usually happens is our guitarist Alex, he's like the boss, he's the main one, he's the main guy. He wrote all the riffs on the last record. Our bassist Luke, he was originally the other guitarist. He had to step down, but then he came back and jumped in on bass for us. Um, they wrote all of the riffs, everything on the first album. The only thing that changed was when we hired our current second guitarist, Jake. He threw down and like wrote his own solos, his own solo pieces. And then once they're all done with the music, they send it to me and let me do my magic on top of it. So I don't hear anything until they're almost done with it. That's
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, that sounds like a pretty good process. It's definitely worked for you guys. So,
so far, right?
cool. Yeah. Awesome. Well, do you have any like stories from the road? Like any shows you guys have done, like something crazy happening that you know feel like sharing?
Oh man, I gotta think of some. I gotta think of some that are like safe to say. I'm just kidding. No, I think well, since we're still like starting off with some stuff, we haven't done anything too crazy. But I think the weirdest one, we were playing a show, and like I don't even know what happened. Like we didn't have a place to stay, and no one for some of the guys didn't want to sleep in the van, and for whatever reason, like it's cozy as hell in the van. I'll sleep in a van for a week. I don't give a shit. But the venue was just like, hey, if you guys want to sleep on the stage, go for it. So like half the guys slept on the stage, and we're like going using the restrooms and stuff. It was funny. Like we don't have anything too crazy, but like we hope to top that. You know, we hope to have something more ridiculous coming soon. I think what we're doing with Viscera Trail is going to be absolutely insane because we're going to have us and those guys all in the same van, and it's going to be nothing but 7 sweaty dudes down south in the middle at the end of August. So that's going to be something.
It's gonna be hot as hell. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait. I'm all
Well, that's
stoked.
cool.
As long as there's no snow, I don't care.
Yeah. So I've heard of stage diving before. Now we've heard of stage camping. I like it. All right.
It's a new thing. I was gonna say, you mentioned being cramped in the van. You know, I've always kind of wondered. I've played in bands, but I've never been on a tour or anything like that. So, like, how many pairs of clothes do the guys have to bring? I mean, it's not like you got a washer and dryer, but then you can't bring too much.
Yeah.
So what's that magical formula?
I can't speak for anyone else in this band because we're all metal guys. So like you know how it smells. But what I technically do is I look at how many dates we're going. I bring about let's say we're doing like a 6-day run or something. I'll bring like 6, 7, or 8 shirts. I'll bring a couple pairs of shorts, a couple pairs of pants, and just like every pair of underwear I own. God forbid some shit happens. I bring like I bring like 3 bottles of body spray and a couple bars of soap just because I know someone won't bring them.
It's a good call.
Yeah.
Gotta be prepared.
That's
Very
right. Be
good
prepared.
call. So, if there is any band you could tour with or play a show with, who would it be? Like as a supporting act.
Definitely Immolation. I told these guys if we ever play a show with Immolation, I'm like done. I retire right there. That's all I need. That's all I'm doing this for.
Going out on top.
Nice.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. But it'd be cool to be like we played with Narcotic Wasteland about a year ago, and that was really cool since Niall's one of our biggest influences. So talking with Dallas was really sick. He really enjoyed our sound.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dang. So when was that?
That was August of last year. We played out in it was at a brewery called Zymurgy Brewery, and they have a festival every year called Zymurder Fest. And like this year is the first year they're doing it in like 2 days. Like they got big enough to do it in like they're trying to do like a weekend thing, which is really cool. I'm so happy for them.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
They're getting big things, man.
Big.
Oh yeah. Are there any shows or tours that you want to attend as a fan that are coming up?
Oh man. So there's one with Vomitory and Gorgasm is playing. That one I'm super excited for, and yeah, those are like my boys. So I'm like really excited to see them. They just like reformed, and so they're making a new album or something, I think, right now. So that's really exciting. Like I can't wait to see these guys play live. It's been forever since they've been on stage. But I think like the biggest one that a couple of months ago, Archgoat came through, and that was crazy. They came with Bloodbath, and oh man, I almost died. That was insane.
Dang, hell yeah.
I bet that was pretty crazy.
It sounded beautiful. Absolutely.
Well, and that matters, because so many times you go to a show, I mean, we've even talked about it, and you know the band's good, and something about the sound just isn't right, and especially at some of these smaller venues we got here in OKC. 89th Street, I was just saying just recently I felt like their sound, but like I never wanted to go see a show there, and I hated it whenever shows were there until like, I don't know, a few months ago, and then all of a sudden I was like, hey, they fixed their sound problem. And
yeah, their remodel saved that place.
Yeah, the remodel saved that place. And so, it's one thing to go see your band. You want to go see your band, but then whenever the sound is great and it really like everybody else gets a chance to hear it the same way you hear it or whatever, you know, it's just like a whole different level for a show, and you walk away and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Like,
Yeah,
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
That's the best feeling. Especially, like you were saying, like when those little venues like reamp their systems and get like a whole new sound rig, and it just sounds immaculate. Like 2 years later, like that's the best shit. I love that.
Most definitely, that's what I'm talking about.
So 89th Street's got good sound now, Zumi?
I mean, if we're stacking it up to what it used to be, like I used to hate it. I mean, I really thought it did bands an injustice, and I would be like, I promise, these are good bands, you know, like, is the way I felt as we were walking out, you know, and it wasn't even that they were playing bad, but there was only one time old sound, you know, it was whenever Cephalic Carnage came through and played, whenever it was the Conservatory, and I felt like that show was a good show, but that's like one of the only ones from the past that I remember being any good. So, anyways.
Well, that must have been a long time ago. Cephalic Carnage.
Oh, yeah. They had just came out with Anomalies, so a long time ago.
Cattle Decap, when it was the Conservatory, was a rough one.
I didn't know Cattle Decap played there.
Oh, yeah. They came through. Yeah, I've got pictures from a Kodak disposable camera of that show. Back when Travis Ryan had his short hair, you know, and it was still that big burly bassist with the big beard, you know, like this is this is like the Humanure days, you know, and what was that?
Oh, okay.
The Harvest Floor had just came out. That's what it was.
Those are good.
Good days, yeah.
Shit.
Even though they still put out bangers, like everything they've done is still.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I just saw him on the Chaos and Carnage, and it's wild to see like the band that I'm talking about back then is turned into what it is now. It's like an absolute powerhouse.
Yeah.
Oh,
I couldn't believe it. I didn't never said. The first time I heard them, I was like, who the hell is this? I was like, what kind of name is that, you know? And now I'm like, Cattle Decap.
Yeah, they're like legends now. It's crazy.
Yeah, legends. Yeah, and people ask me, you know, out there, they're like, what's your shirt say? And I'm like, Cattle Decapitation, and they look at me like,
yeah.
like, yeah, you heard me right.
So, all right. So, Brian, if I'm not mistaken, you guys, did you play the pre-party for 70,000 Tons of Metal this year?
We played a pre-party. Yeah, that was cool. That we played in like this. We played in this little bar called Kill Your Idols. It's such a cool venue, but that place was so packed that like me and our guitarists were like in the pit. Like it was so tight in there. Like it was I thought it was gonna be a fire hazard or something. Like we were like, oh boy, this is gonna be crazy. Because like there was like the main pre-party, and then there was ours, and ours was free. Like we played a free show, so like. Everybody showed up. Yeah, we were just like, oh, it's gonna be cool. Like, there's gonna be a decent amount of people here, but like everyone came through. Like that was crazy.
That's cool. Did you guys go on the
Man,
boat
that's the best.
and attend?
Oh yeah.
We want to. I know our guitarist Alec, our guitarist and our bassist, they work it every year. They're stagehands, so they build all the sets and the stages. So they've been trying to get us on it. Yeah, maybe next year.
Dang, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's like a ticket in, man. Like,
yeah, right.
You're my ace in the hole. Get us in, man. Get us in.
Exactly. I'll stay on a boat. Let's play a boat at like 4 a.m. with a board. That's sick.
Yeah, that sounds so awesome.
I want to go. So
hey, you
bad.
know, you mentioned playing in like a bar for that. Yeah, Brandon, this is his thing. This is his thing. Like he's been talking about 70,000 tons of metal for years.
At
and
least
he's like,
10.
we've got to go.
12 years I've been wanting to go. Just it hasn't worked out.
Yeah, same. Like same here. Like I've always been wanting to know, and every time like it happens, I just don't have the money for it for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's not
days,
cheap.
buddy.
I keep thinking of, hey, yeah, maybe I could go with you, Brandon. And then I look at the price and I'm like,
Nah, go to yourself.
Sorry, man. Like, I don't see myself ever having that much free money.
For real. Honestly.
Hey, you mentioned, Brian, playing in the bar for the pre-party, though, and it being, like, so packed. And I know that, you know, up north, that's kind of a normal thing for metal bands to play in bars and stuff. I don't really see it as much down here. Now, there's usually a bar serving alcohol at the metal show, but it's not like it's an open bar when it's not a show. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get exactly what you're saying.
It's like, yeah.
It was like it's one of those that like that border on like venue and bar, but the layout was super interesting. Like usually like they have like they're very wide. This place was like really long, so it was interesting. We were like everyone was like packed like sardines in there. It was cool. It was definitely one of the most interesting shows I've ever.
And so is that normal at all up north with some of the shows that maybe you've played, like playing in a bar like that?
It's really varied up north because like we have a lot of places that like say they're bars, but then they look like actual like legit venues and they work like that.
Right.
But I know we have a place in Chicago called Reggie's, and they call it Reggie's Rock Club. And to anyone else who like looked at it, they'd be like, "Oh, it's probably just like a dive bar." But then you go in and it's got like a whole huge floor and like this huge stage. It's really cool. It's like the closest thing you get to like playing in amphitheaters.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Everybody going through his Reggie's.
Yeah, that's the best. I love that place. I swear by it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've always wanted to kind of play at a bar, you know?
I'm gonna have to go to a show
I
up
always
there.
thought that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, we'll book something. Let's do it, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, so Brian, do you have an album of the year so far for 2024? And are there any releases that you are looking forward to?
Oh man, I'm gonna plug my own for a sec. I think Ancient Entities, Echo of Annihilation is a pretty solid album.
I'm with you.
But as for like,
That's the best answer we've gotten on that question, by the way.
you gotta give yourself a little bit of it, you know. You gotta have fun with it because it's like you didn't say like
Absolutely.
shit you do. It's like, then what did you do? You made a crappy album?
Yeah. Oh,
You're not happy with
yeah,
it?
we didn't make the best album. We didn't make the best album, but you know,
I'm
next
still
year.
waiting for a band to say that. I'm waiting for a band, like, in all those interviews where they're just like, what can you tell us about the new album? It's like, it's the best thing we've ever made. I want one band to just be like, no, this sucks. Like, this next album's going to be terrible.
We're going back to the drawing board.
Yeah, we're starting from scratch again. Don't buy this one. Buy the one that's coming in 3 more years. But I'd say for other releases, oh, man. That's tough. There's so much good music came out this year. Like, I think
Yeah, it's been a crazy year.
man, I'm really
Yeah, I definitely
again,
third
like,
that because it has been like almost solid album after solid album, you know?
for real. It's man.
There's been good stuff this year.
Yeah,
Something happened with like COVID. You know, COVID like re-energized so many of these metal bands, and everybody was like, "We got to start writing again. We got to start, you know, touring again." And it's like as soon as all of the bands were lifted, I mean, ever since. So we're going on like probably 2 years now, 3 years of just nothing but shows and albums, and you know, just awesome metal. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's nuts. And like the amount of like bands that like started during COVID too, and like are now like really breaking out is insane.
Yes.
They're really taking advantage of it, and that's good for them, man. Like, this is awesome. Like, it's like a whole new, like, it's like a renaissance almost in a way. Like, it feels like there's like a new band every other week. And, like, they're like really good.
Yeah, and there's almost like even super bands that you get to see, you know, every now and then that pop up, and you're like, oh wow, this has like, you know, three members are from three of my favorite bands. So you know, it's cool whenever that stuff happens. Also,
Oh hell yeah, absolutely.
Really, there's not enough time to listen to it all.
There is.
yeah, Brandon and I we were talking about that. We were just like, you know, like there you would have to listen to music nonstop, and then a lot of music you have to listen to multiple times anyway to really give it a solid shot. So, you know, it's like now you need all the time in the world to listen to it times 2.
Yeah, for real. Man. Like it drives me nuts, and then I just end up listening to like the same 10 songs on repeat on my playlist.
So I fall into that same thing too, where I'm like, okay, back to what I know.
Yeah, you just get too overwhelmed.
Sometimes you got to take it back. Yeah, I have to like find my foundation again so that I can like build back up on it anytime I get too lost.
Yeah, honestly.
Hey, that works. So, since it's hard to pick like an album of the year, are there any releases that you're looking forward to?
Jeez. I know, it's funny because I have gone from, like, I listen to a lot of, like, my friends' bands and, like, people we've played with because, like, I just love, like, more underground kind of bands. So, I'm super excited for my brothers in Cannibal Abortion. They're releasing a new EP this year, and it's going to be absolutely insane. They are, like, a brutal death kind of slam kind of band, and they kill it. Like those guys are insane.
Awesome. Do you happen to know when that's expected to be like available so we can keep an eye out for it?
No, I don't know an exact date. I do hound them all the time about it, and they never will tell me. They'll just like, we don't know if we're gonna do it. Like, we'll tell you when it is. You'll know when everyone else does. And it's like, thanks.
Yeah, we're going to do it on December 25th so that we can be at the top of everyone's album of the year list.
They did that with a single. They did that with a single last year.
Yeah,
That's funny.
That's the trick,
Merry
man.
Christmas.
It's all about timing.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, man. You know, sometimes I wonder, like, why do people even put out music in January? You know?
Yeah, there's no. Everyone's gonna forget about it by like May.
Well, or even if you don't forget about it, you just forget that it happened this year because it's been so long ago. You're like, oh yeah, that was this year. You know?
Yeah. You just get too like bombarded with everything else coming out. You're trapped.
Yeah, I have to like go through Brando. He does his daily commute all the time, and so a lot of times I'll be like, "Oh man, what all have we listened to?" And I'll be going back through it all, you know. And there's so much of it. I'll go through a couple of months, and I'm like, I don't remember when we, you know, did the daily commute over this band, or I'll be trying to find something specific and I can't find it. Yeah. So I'm like, there's just too much, man. There's just too much. It's a good thing though. I love it. I think you know, saturating the marketplace with metal is how good metal comes about. So
exactly, I'll take it.
And it's like a treasure hunt sometimes, you know. And how often do you really find stuff that's just awful? You know, I mean, especially if you're like looking to your same sources. Most of the time, you're like you can find something good out of at least the group of things you're checking out. So
exactly, yeah. Like I honestly like. Because I still go to record stores, like I still buy CDs, so it's like I'll still go at like what I did as a kid. I'll still go and be like, you know, this album cover looks really cool. I'm gonna pick this up, and like 9 times out of 10, it's a solid banker. Like
yeah. Well, we've even talked on the show multiple times about how the artwork matters so much, even if you've never heard of them. Sometimes that's the whole reason why you check them out.
Yeah.
You know, is you just saw that album cover and you're like, this looks cool. And I was telling Brando, like, I'll do that at the record store every now and then. I'll just find something, and I'll be like, yeah, okay, why not? I'll check it out.
Right? Yeah.
It'll be like in the discount bin or something like that, you know?
Yeah. I think the one that got me the worst was when I was a lot younger. I was going through looking for like some black metal stuff, and I found a CD for Christian Death, and it was like cool. It had like a spider on it, and I was like, this thing is probably like the gnarliest shit I've ever heard. So I bought it, put it in my CD player, and it was like post-punk goth music, which isn't a bad thing. Like it was still good,
Yeah.
but like wasn't expecting
like-
Had that
that.
happen a couple times.
Yeah, it's like a little misleading. You're like, wait a minute, you know, and you're looking at that artwork again, and you're like, nah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Dude,
Yeah.
we had a CD warehouse where there was used CDs you could listen to. They had like, CD Walkmans there, and you could go and like test the CD of the used ones before you bought it. And it was so sick. I found so many bands in 6th grade because of that. First time I heard Cannibal Corpse, I thank that old business.
Yeah, CD warehouse. Brandon, we
Yeah.
used to have some here. You remember that?
Well, yeah, I remember. I think there was like 2 of them in Norman.
Yeah, I think there was.
was awesome.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You could go in and listen to those CDs, man. That's cool.
It was great.
The days, man.
Yeah. So I saw
Post-COVID.
you're
Don't be putting your earwax in
Yeah, not
your
post-
wax.
no, don't touch anything of mine, right?
Yeah,
Are you wearing a mask? Oh man, that's so good. So were you born in '94?
I was.
Yeah, okay. I thought so because of the email. So, you might not remember. I don't know if they even had stores. Did they have stores like that back then? Whenever you were old enough to, I know they did in '94, but by the time you became teenager listening to heavy metal, did they have like CD stores around still?
Oh, I still go to them. I still find them. Yeah. There's
But it's hard to find like a new CD store anymore. I don't know where they are anymore.
Oh, there's a place in my neighborhood called Rolling Stones Records, and they still all the new releases come through them. You can still buy CD, vinyl, cassette. Like it's literally that
Nice.
place has not changed in like since like 1970s. Like it's still booming. Every
That's
time I
cool.
go there, the place is packed. Yeah, so it's awesome.
Yeah, that's great because I feel like, here in Norman, at least, I feel like a lot of that stuff, you got to go find it. And usually it's like a place that sells a lot of used stuff is what it does, which is fine. I'm fine with the used stuff. Most of it is in really good condition anyway, but like we have places like Vintage Stock where you can find a few new CDs and stuff in there, but mostly it's used. And so that's cool that you got some places like that going still cuz that gives me a little bit of hope for the future.
We've got some good ones in Tulsa, some good record stores that always have all the CDs still in stock, and you can even still go to Best Buy here in Tulsa and get a CD.
Really? See, I think in
Yeah.
Norman, I don't even think the Best Buy in Norman sells music anymore.
Yeah, they took that all out in Chicago.
They might have taken it out. It's been a minute since I've looked at it. A couple of years. They might have taken it all out.
Could
Hey,
always
that's
just
a
go to
shame.
Walmart and get the edited versions.
Yeah, go to Walmart and get the edited.
Absolutely.
I remember the first time, like, whenever I was young, my grandma, like, she would take us to Walmart, and they lived in this little town, didn't have any stores, and so we'd, like, have to drive out of town just to go to Walmart, and it was, like, a big deal. You're excited, like, on Wednesday we're going to Walmart. And so I remember going there one time, and I think I, like, bought a Marilyn Manson CD or something, and I took it home. And I knew it didn't have the parental advisory little stamp on it, but I didn't know they were actually edited until I got it. And then I was like, what is this crap I bought? and then you try to take it back and you're like, no, I don't want this. And they're like, you might have copied that. That's yours now. And you're like, oh, what have I done?
Oh man.
Yeah, they got you. They got you good.
They did.
So-
I was young. Learned early.
So, Brian, got just a couple more questions for you, man. And one of them is, what are your personal music goals for 2024? For the remainder of the year?
Well, oh man, I would love to keep playing shows, of course. If we could, hopefully that'd be really cool if we could drop a couple more singles or something. Like we could do like an EP, have something come out, like just another release. That's probably like on my number one on the to-do list right now.
Awesome.
I'd love to have some more
Yeah.
material. Yeah.
You guys got some new tracks like on the way for us?
Right now everyone's kind of, because this whole record cycle was so stressful. Like everyone's kind of just like, right now everyone's trying to just lay back and relax as much as they can for the most part. But I know that Alex and Jake are writing stuff together. They're bouncing ideas back and forth, and I have like 5 pages of lyrics ready to go. So whenever they need me, it'll be ready.
Nice. Awesome. So, are you doing anything with any other projects?
Yeah, actually, I'm in another band called Annihilation Principle. With the current drummer from Gorgasm, we when we played way back years ago, after that band kind of fizzled out due to COVID and some dumb decisions made by me, he reached out to me again. We're just like, hey man, I miss doing this stuff. You miss doing this stuff. Let's get back together and start doing things again. So yeah, we released a 2-song promo a couple of weeks ago, and that's been doing pretty good too. Like we're excited for that one. We're working on an album right now for that.
Awesome. I'll go check out that promo. Is it on all the streaming platforms or?
I know we have a lyric video on YouTube for it, and we have it's on Spotify too.
Okay, sweet. We'll go check that out.
Hell yeah,
Happy to promote some more Brian work.
Yeah, the promo is called Brad the Impaler.
Brad the Impaler?
Yeah, like what we're trying to do with that band, it's like the music is like very like old school death metal, like Carcass. We have a lot of Carcass worship. But like
Okay.
we don't want to be like super serious about our stuff. So like a lot of our songs and like our lyrical content's like stupidly hilarious. So like yeah, this song's about like Vlad the Impaler's cousin Brad, who like did all the hard work, but Vlad got all the credit for it.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool.
I like that. That's awesome, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. So, what can we expect from Ancient Entities? I don't know. Maybe for the rest of the year and next year. So, I guess you're hoping for maybe an EP or another release. Are there any like? Obviously, you probably can't make any announcements, but are there like any bigger tours in line or anything like that?
I can't say anything tour wise, but we're playing shows here and there. We're doing like some like weekend things just to have fun. I know we're playing with Bloodletter on Friday, so that's gonna be fun. We're playing out in Madison at the Annex, so we're gonna have a good time at that one. Yeah, and then of course that tour with Viscera Trail, we're super excited for that one. That one's gonna be really fun. But other than that, I can't really say too much. We're still waiting on things to be confirmed. But
Okay.
yeah, I hope we can get a couple singles out there. That'd be sick.
Yeah, hell yeah. And fair enough on not being able to say anything. We get that. So no worries there. But,
That usually means really cool stuff is coming.
Yeah,
So everybody be ready.
we'll keep our eyes peeled.
That's
We'll
right.
see.
Hell yeah.
Watching you.
Yeah, when we can say it, we'll let you guys know for sure.
All right, that sounds good. So that concludes my list of, the questions that we had for you. But I mean, is there anything you would like to add? Like anything you just want to say?
Yeah, just no, I fell. Oh man, that's embarrassing. Well,
No.
but no, just our album's out now. Check it out on any kind of streaming platform you wish. And thanks to everyone for supporting it. Like this has been like really nice. Everyone's been very positive about it, and like even like we've gotten a couple negative things, but nothing's like really bad. It's just like constructive criticism as I see it, and I love that kind of stuff. So keep it coming, and hopefully we can make something down the future that even more people will enjoy.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
It's awesome.
I think sometimes it's also just a matter of getting it out there in front of more people, you know, and
Yeah.
hopefully we've, you know, had the opportunity tonight with this episode to help you all do that. So, you know I'm all about it, and I'll spread the Ancient Entity love for sure. So,
Oh yeah.
I love, man. Thank you so much.
yeah, we really appreciate you coming on. And Sumi, I think, did you want to add something about? Is there some like musical treat for our ears in store?
Yeah, hey, what do you know? We actually do have a treat. You know, we talked a little bit ahead of time, and we thought it would be really cool if we played an Ancient Entities song, you know, on the show. And that way, you know, you want to tune in and listen to the show. Hopefully you like the track, and it takes you right to the album, Echoes of Annihilation. But the name of this song that we're going to be playing is Blood Upon the Stone. And I think Brian said that it's one that they usually open with. So you're kind of getting the start of the show anyway, right here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the online experience right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Not live, but, you know, still cool. Still cool. So everybody enjoy the track. You know, we loved it, and we're going to, you know, keep jamming this album, but here it comes, Blood Upon the Stone.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, awesome song. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for checking out the episode. Thanks to Brian once again, and again for just taking some time. It's late, and we get it, right? Everybody's got to work. Everybody's got life, but this is fun stuff, and everybody out there, go check out Ancient Entities. Check out their social medias. I know they've got stuff on Facebook, and they've got other socials that they've got out there as well. So like everybody else, they're on the. I think you guys are on the Instagram, and I believe you guys also have an X account, don't you?
Maybe. I have no idea. I just know about the Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, back to the MySpace. Yes.
Round playlist.
That's the best. So, but yeah, Bandcamp, all of them. So go check them out. Go check out the socials or the socials, and we'll do our best to keep bringing you some awesome music. Thanks again, Brian. On behalf of the rest of the group here, we're so grateful. And Metal Block, over and out.
Later, blockheads.